I think these are initial classes, so just set up problem, but again, we are all good with continuing the regular class. The batch will be every day on 11:30 to 12:30, maybe slightly here and there 5-10 minutes, usually between 12:30 to 1 p.m. Usually this is our hours, and this is a batch DSA 116 track. I hope by now everybody are clear that, and we will be shortly sharing you form. In that you have to mention your particulars along with a photo, and the reason is that this is some mandatory steps by again police department, because every students basically who are enrolling for the course, it's mandatory to have an admission form in which the details like Aadhaar card and a photograph to be given. We'll share you the Google form map, and the same will help you to get a registration number, like your administration number. Your admission number will be there. The reason is that these things can help you in a very long way. That whenever probably, in few years, that when this background verification happens, we would be able to support you in this along with the registration admission number. And these days, even one piece of document also is, today there are a lot of validations, authentications happening. So if you wanted to, say that you have claimed that you have done some courses and all of it, we are again 100% helping on the people who are looking for background verification as well. So registration number, admission number is important for you also. You have to know, maybe in a couple of days, everything will be sorted for you. So again, the work and learn program people will get ID cards. Just give us a little time. I think you already shared the details. Soon you'll be getting the ID cards for that. Okay, guys. So quickly getting into the class back again. I think, we just started with big data part of it. So as I've told you, we are covering hardly around 5 hours of sessions on content of what is big data. We are not covering the entire course on big data, just, introduction part. We again for that, so that you can say big data analytics. Some of the basic knowledge, again, the content, whatever 5 hours we are providing, it's as much as from IIM, Introduction of Management. That syllabus actually we are covering, which is critical importantly to have some introduction about big data part. Some of the curriculum actually we are getting it from IIM Calcutta. The reason is that one of our professional who've been working here, as well as I was a student earlier, is helping us, to get some very valid information as per the latest in the market, in terms of academically also what is important for you guys to keep it up with the pace of the industry, and they have the latest information always. We'll of course we'll get some soon, Likith on board on for one of the presentation on some weekend webinars. So the big data part we have covered other day on the importance of the 5 V's, and we spoke about for every organization is basically they are trying to get the value out of this data, the first V, and in order of the value, because the tremendous things happening around the big data, like volume of the data, the variety of data, the veracity of data, right? So the value, volume, variety, veracity, 1, 2, 3, 4, and fifth one, anybody? Velocity, yes. The speed. So now the challenge for every organization is to think about in these terms, and there are different roles for different people. Primarily, this is all managed by mostly right now is data engineers who are also working on using GCP cloud platforms or AWS cloud platforms or Azure cloud platform, and mostly today are all using cloud platforms. And again, some more tools like Snowflake, Databricks. This all you will hear in future when somebody, whenever we are talking about addressing with about big data. These are all different tools: Kafka, Kubernetes. There are different softwares. These are not softwares which are basically primary your skills. These are some primary skills of the data engineer. So don't get shy if you see someone's data scientist CV also putting this like example GCP, okay, AWS, Azure environment. Don't get surprised if they write it somewhere like in Snowflake, Snowflake. Don't get surprised. The reason why I'm saying is that you are a data scientist, of course. you are a data scientist, but these are addressed under what? Under what environment you worked under? What environment you worked under? That means these are all called environment tools. These are not something which you are basically working with. There are specialists who are working in data engineers, but within your project, so this is environment. Again, you'll see some language used, Python. Okay, this is one part. One is language. The environment is like this, and again, third thing will be like something, okay, front end. This is again can be back end, front end, and front end, back end technologies. It could be something like, again, it could be Python or Java, or it could be anything. So you don't be surprised that when you see somebody's CV putting 3 years experience, then when you'll find that different things which are there here, like these things, probably you're not working in these things. You're not working on Java, you're not working on this. Probably you'll even see .NET also. Again, you'll find authentication, like something like APIs and different channels. So when I'm telling that this kind of important other information is, as you put experience, you'll find these people are having 5+, 6+. These people are putting all these tools. Now you are data scientist, but what if I don't have knowledge on these things? Do I require to have this knowledge? In fact, our friend is here. Let me see. A very interesting question was asked by him. That's why I want to address that. I think it is from 114 batch. Okay, so what is happening here is basically, so these tools are not your primary skills. These tools are, you don't have to have knowledge. Is basically we are saying that you are a data scientist who have done machine learning part, and like the whole CV will be machine learning part only. All your projects will be on machine learning only. But you will find on Naukri.com or people who are experienced, you may find these tools extra. Why? Because there is within a project, there is a data scientist, there is a data analyst, there is a data engineer, a cloud engineer, which could be both. He can play both roles. There is a project manager, there is a senior manager, there is a program head. Okay, this is same project we are talking about. A project, in a project, you have a special feature which you have to develop as a data scientist part, which is basically you are developing a machine learning part. As a data analyst, somebody is doing some analysis, some reports he's building. As a data engineer, he is responsible for this whole project, because this is a client's project. A client is basically there. He's asking you to finish this project. So within this project, you have program manager, senior manager, delivery manager, data scientist, data analyst, data engineers, and UI UX team also. Who is UI UX team? Who is, like graphic designing or your web designing, or it could be anything. So that means when you're trying to develop an app, okay, so you take it as a project, the project members are so many. So within my profile, within my project, can't I put all these things? Because all these people are sitting just like this when meeting is happening, and I would be addressing, okay, data scientist, what are your activities in a status meeting? What is basically your responsibility and role? So you have to be very clear on your role and responsibility as a data scientist. But these are all add-ons. So you can, let's say when the meeting is happening within the status meeting, okay, what data scientist has spoken about it. Now data engineer is speaking about his challenges and role and responsibility. He's talking about that, let's say, he's talking about Google Cloud Platform, and he's saying that I've just met with the vendor and I'm just in configuring the details, and particularly, let's say, he's telling the status of his challenges or role and responsibility within the project. So he may say that, the data scientist may say that, see, I'm looking for this data, I'm not getting still. Okay, it's not there in the database. Data scientist shares basically. So then whose responsibility is? A manager like me, sitting here and looking after things. Who is again, okay, I'm asking data engineer, why the data is not coming yet. So then data engineer says the configuration has not been yet done for this particular pipeline. And the reason, what are the challenges? Then again, he will be going again discussing with the vendor or particularly GCP platform, because he is expertise on cloud and data scientist is waiting here for the data. So when this happening, the data scientist is also getting knowledge on what is happening in the data engineering side. You got my point? Why am I addressing actually about the various roles and responsibility within this environment? Now, what happens, the data scientist, with or without her intention, she's understanding what's happening there in the GCP environment or cloud environment. So within the project, now, even though this data scientist is there, data engineer is there, again, data analyst, I asked him, what happened with the historical data which I asked, what happened about the report which I asked, about particular data part of it. He said, again, I'm dependent upon some kind of information to be provided from, again, data engineers. Okay. Again, data engineering saying that, no, I mean, I have a dependency on database administrators. Again, database administrators are separate people who are only looking the database part. Okay, cloud engineer again is something is role and responsibility. Data scientist role, but I am not expecting that data scientist will be doing the data engineer's job. So, but when we are in an ecosystem, this is called. That's why I call this as an environment. This is what I call as environment. So, as a team, you're all working together within a project, and without your knowledge, you'll come to know about all these tools and technologies within the project. And who is your client? Whoever is your client, XYZ. So it's why we are getting everybody in the project and within the status meeting. Why the manager is not talking to one individual at one time? Why is he getting all the people at one time? So that any communication is there. Now today, the data scientist I am asking, the data scientist, she's saying that, no, my data is not yet come. So I can clear it then and there with the data engineer. What is the challenge? And I'm asking redundantly, in front of everybody, how much time is going to take? 1 day, 2 day, 3 day, 5 day. So he's saying, no, it's going to take 1 week. So I will not make data scientists lie around there, for 1 week without much working. So I would assign a separate work for them. Who is the role playing here? Scrum Master. A manager who is having Scrum role. Scrum certification is separate again. But he's very much a data science manager here now. Who can play a Scrum Master role? Somebody good experience in IT side, somebody already having 10 years experience, who understands what is technicality in every aspect of it, right? A Scrum Master is basically trying to take the requirements from the business, from the client, and he is sharing the same requirements with his associates here. So again, data analyst is finished, data scientist, again, I'm asking for what about the front-end technologies? Where up to which mark they have come here to build the front-end part application. So I'm questioning them. How is the user interface? Means today, if somebody is going on website, it should be very dashing, compelling, attractive. No matter how much the data scientist has developed a beautiful algorithm or the machine learning feature, or no matter how much the report content you have, no matter how much your capabilities, you are investing money in the cloud engineering department, but if your front-end portion is nothing good, if the content is not good front-end, obviously you will lose a lot of customers. Amazon focus on the website part. You can see that how they are binding it together. Now companies like Amazon recruit hundreds of data scientists, hundreds of UI UX developer, hundreds of data analysts, hundreds of data engineers, hundreds of database administrators, many people. Means you can even see within a project, 1,000 people also there. 1,000 to 1,200 rupees, 1,500, 2,000 people also within one project. Because the company's business itself is all on online platform, e-commerce. So can you have Amazon? Can you assume there is Amazon 2,000 employees only working in IT department? Absolutely. And Amazon is a product development company. That means it is not giving services to other. Example, I'm talking about Amazon.com. Okay, keep it in mind. I'm not talking about Amazon as a company. I'm talking about Amazon.com. Because Amazon.com is a logistics company where now it's a marketplace, and within the marketplace, there is ERP department. Okay, there are multiple departments within the IT, but I'm only focusing right now on data scientist, data analyst, data engineers, people who are working in the data. Now, day one, you are a data scientist, probably you didn't know what tools they are using. But day 60th, day 90, day 200, by then you'll make friends with them, and everybody, mostly they are also data engineers. A good technical person I'm talking about, not data scientist or data engineer, a good technical person who is an IT person, always interested in learning new things, always interested in understanding what this guy is doing. Let me learn also so that I can put on my CV. Then these guys are the one you'll see that people putting Snowflake, GCP, Azure, environment, Python, Java, all. But I asked him, what are you? I'm a data scientist. But he puts everything on here. Why is he putting everything on his? He says, I have knowledge on this. I have worked on this environment. When I worked for my client, all these tools were used. Okay. And I was communicating with these stakeholders. So I was able to communicate with data engineers on a particular context of Snowflake. I was able to talk to the GCP consultant on context of this. I was able to talk to the UIX developer for a particular this thing, because this is called communication. Very important communication. And communication is something which you are saying and they are understanding, and they are saying and you are understanding, and particularly technical communication, not English communication, technical communication. So what is happening around the GCP, if you are able to understand, when will you understand? When you understand the product. I'm not saying that you will be expertise in the product. Expertised people is data engineer. But I'm saying whether you are able to at least take through a walkthrough in that, yes, because the data engineer will show you that walkthrough at least minimum part. And how, let's say, again, a database administrator, who is the responsibility? Database's responsibility is by database administrators. Now, database administrators, basically, he is expert in the databases, not you. You are learning SQL for sure, yes. You are able to work with the data, little bit manipulation probably you are doing, but you are not database administrator where he has lot of powers, to, or I would say role. He will be more role playing in the creation of database, deletion of database, manipulating within that, and there are a lot of other thing activities. We call even SQL server, separate course it is. SQL is not that course. SQL will help you to import, export data for your analysis, right? So, but still you are also interacting with the database guys. Maybe 1 year, 2 years, 3 years when you work, maybe you get little privileges on controlling the admin privileges, we call. When you get admin privileges, you can create some users, you can put some triggers, you can write some programs in SQL part as the seniority part. Our syllabus, whatever we are teaching is 100% everything you will be able to do it. But in company, you will not be asked to do everything, all of it. In company, you will not be asked all to do work on the SQL, whatever we are teaching you. Based upon your role and responsibility only, you will have access. But you will have 100% access in your data science tools. So if you can understand what I'm talking about, the reason because all these tools will be there on some of the people's CV, but you have to stick to your primary skills. As a data analyst, your tools are Power BI, SQL, and Python part of it as for analytics. As a data scientist, your primary tools are machine learning with Python, and bit of Power BI and SQL for sure. Okay. So, but somebody data scientist with also knowledge on these other areas. So he's a very hot cake for me because he's experienced. He says that I have knowledge. I don't have knowledge, to be honest. I don't know. But if he is able to answer few things at least in there, is going to be strength in my project. If I take person who says that, sir, I know from A to Z of everything, I will not believe him. But he says that I am a primary skill with data science part, but I have knowledge on these tools. Why? Because there was within my environment, people have worked in this. I have a good knowledge on that. But if I require, I may be helping you on this also. So that is again why we have to keep adding multiple skills, even though there are not our primary skills, just to cut down the competition. You're all trying for freshers, no problem. Nobody will look at all these things. But as you go 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, also, let's say somebody is getting 50 lakhs package and you are also 5 years experience. He is also 5 years experience in a data science role, and 5 years you are getting only 15 lakhs. Why is he getting 50 lakhs? There is a 35 lakhs difference. Why is he getting? If you put a question in that, the gap is that their companies would be ready to pay you 50 lakhs also. But how much are you giving the business to the company? So that person who is getting 50 lakhs is talking about all these things. It could be nonsense also, trust me. Why? Because when HR takes interview, she doesn't know much of these things, but she sees that, okay, so many things on the tool. So it's like a buffet. Okay. It's like a buffet, basically, trust me. Okay. But when you actually go technical route, technical person is also data science manager. Okay. He is manager also, but again, manager is only looking up, talking about the project on a functional business side. A technical person who is a data scientist, he may not have all this knowledge expertise again. He says that, okay, you know this, I know this. So he can't ask much questions also because he doesn't know on those things. He may have to Google it out. So at least you say 5-10 minutes of those topics, that's enough, done. Means, okay, technical rounds they are clearing now here. So, but when the HR round is happening, you are demanding that I am looking for a 100% hike. And it is convincing enough for the HR to take out the budget for you, saying that these guys know multiple skills. This can help us 2-3 resources people as one resource. That means these guys are equal to 2 people or 3 people. The single guy or a girl is basically equal to 3 to 4 people. These are useful particularly for abroad jobs. This is where we call as an independent role. Understand the word independent. You can use these interviews also, say that I'm a very independent professional with minimum assistance, minimum help. I can work on many multiple things. So understand that necessity is that in today's market, I would say that you should target for international jobs only. Keep your mindset like international jobs set. When you keep it in such a phase, Indian interviews are nothing for you. Okay, so you can even try for international jobs, by the way. Again, the curriculum, the syllabus, the technical, the tools, all are there. But I worked in 12 years in Dubai, and trust me, I was just an SQL PLSQL developer when I was working in Accenture in my career first. But later on, it went on to seeing that I had to do all different nonsense tools in the client side, which were 1980s, 1970s. And I was thinking that I was working for a NASA or something like that, because those systems were like that only, old systems, and that too also in post office. But again, those people bought that then, and they were just using it time and again. They don't want to invest on new things. Okay, so there are many companies who may develop their own private tools. That is true. In fact, Accenture itself, they develop their own softwares, which you might have not heard about those softwares in the market. But we are learning the popular one only now. We are learning the popular one, but every company, most of the companies also, they can also make their own softwares, which if required, you may have to learn it. So I'm telling you this with this course, not only your understanding data science part, from my experience, I would say that you should be a technical person. Call yourself a technical person. Why? Because today, now you're learning data science, but in once you land up a job, probably you are working 2 years in data science area, then again probably you're getting a US role, then you're going in abroad US, again 10,000 salary, you're getting $10,000 handsome salary. Suddenly they say that within the same company, okay, one of our resources of Power Builder, I'm not talking about Power BI, Power Builder in 1980s, which I was referring actually. He says that this guy has left our organization and we don't have anybody else except you. So you have to learn fast this and you have to continue the job. Now you are getting $10,000 there. So you can't say that. You are already, only 4 or 5 people are in the company, by the way, product development. So you are getting $10,000. Okay, you can't say that, no, I will not do that job. It's not part of my role and responsibility. Then he will say, boss, you have to be independent. You have to be ready to learn all these things. We are giving you $10,000, not to say yes or no. You have to do what is required for the business. Then you may have to do it actually. So if you keep your mind technically strong, thinking that, yeah, everything I will learn, and you should be ready. But again, on the same thing, you also have an opportunity. What is opportunity? You can demand more salary now. Yeah, I will do happily, but you have to increase my $2,000 extra, $12,000, because I have to put a lot of efforts again. You can, again, when you have more tools control, when you have more dependency on the tools, they will just keep increasing your salary. They will not let you go. $15,000, $20,000 per month I'm talking about. You can keep on increasing. I mean, this is a fact. Somebody, senior people do all these things. Now, why am I telling you all these things in topic of big data? Why did I talk about all these things when I'm talking about big data? Because, of course, big data is not part of your primary skills, but you have to understand all these different variations within the IT technology part. And these all things are necessary or not necessary is not something which I will leave up to you. But if at all you're looking up to understand that, okay, which is important on my CV, so you have to think that everything is important. That's my message actually, in short. So it is a continuous learning. Whatever we are learning, we will finish it up within 3 months our content. You can easily get job. But tomorrow you may have to have at least 2 lines of information on every of the tool. If somebody in interview if ask, okay, you have interestingly put Kafka. Do you know what is Kafka? So you should be able to tell that Kafka is nothing but like kind of architecture designed for creating some pipelines, part of data engineering suite. And I have, you can say that along with my data engineers, I was able to look into this tool. So it's an advantage for you. You can say that again, GCP. Yeah, again, I went on for certification of GCP. After completing the course, you can target some of the cloud technologies to learn more. You can say that because these are again Google Cloud Platform. So you can get certification from Google. So if you put on your CV, GCP certification, example I'm telling, Azure also you can have certification on GCP. Again, it will be like a star on your CV. Hardly it is, trust me, whatever you're learning is most of the toughest way here, but those are nothing but softwares you're getting acquaintance. You are just going through the softwares like that. You may have multiple softwares in the market. Just stick to at least whatever first our curriculum, Power BI, SQL, Python, then slowly go on to just listen to this some of GCP or AWS or some of these contents, which will be as the time. I'm not talking about within 3 months, 6 months. I'm telling about next 2 years, 3 years, 5 years. How should be a strategy? If you are thinking that only learning these skills and you will get everything in next 5 years, 10 years, you will try to survive every time. It is dangerous to survive than to compete in the market better. Okay, these are few things, guys. I think it covers this information just now what I will mention. It covers a lot of clarity on real-time perspective, how things working, how people work around, and how do you associate yourself with other people who are working on different tools. So all this part is actually part of a big data ecosystem. Why? Because a data scientist, a data analyst, a data engineer, today's database administrators, today's ETL developers, today's UI UX developers, everybody are some kind independent of big data now. Everybody have to understand what is big data also, very, very important. Why? Because now mostly things are there on cloud premise, cloud technology. Everybody have to work with the data. All projects, the fuel is data. So they have to understand today in the market what is happening around this with 5Gs. So organizations are actually asking everybody for data engineers also to understand, because of course it's a primary of their nature of job of big data. But they're also asking other software professionals also to understand on the big data concepts. Now, whenever we refer to big data, okay, I spoke about little information on other day about the data part, right? We spoke about what is data and what is qualitative data, quantitative data. And in that we have again seen, just let me write this. Yeah, I spoke about raw data. We spoke about processed data. We spoke about structured data. We spoke about unstructured data. We spoke about again semi-structured, right? We spoke about real-time data. We spoke about batch data. So different types of data part of we spoke about it. So as we're addressing on this again, now big data tools, what those people, data engineers are working on tools like Hadoop, Hive, Spark, Scala. Okay, these are traditional tools of a data engineers, not a data scientist. Sometimes you'll find that some of the people in earlier 2013 and until 17, a data scientist also was working on these tools earlier, because there was no clarity on the data engineer part. There was no particular clarity on data engineers part. Even our programming language was there. Python was not even there near by until 2015 again. People were there working. I was working on Python, but Python popularity began in 2020. 2024, today you see it is only 100% of the people, the whole industry is using machine learning with Python. Now, this Scala is a separate programming language. Okay, Spark and Hadoop are frameworks. Spark and Hadoop are frameworks. Hive is like SQL. It's just like SQL tool. Okay, so how it used to happen is that, let's suppose this is a database. This is database. If you're trying to retrieve some information using Hive, okay, it is taking, let's suppose 1 hour for some information. You're trying to retrieve some information, it's taking 1 hour. Hive is nothing but SQL tool only. It's just like SQL, one of the tool. So if I'm applying Hadoop on this top of it, this 1 hour becomes 1 minute. Means it's a framework, this architecture, this HDFS, distributed file systems, Hadoop distributed file systems. It will distribute, just like if I'm asking, I think I gave this example earlier also. If I'm asking one work to give one person, I'm asking to do some job, he's saying it will take 10 hours to complete. Yes. But if I'm giving the same job to 10 people, it will complete it in 1 hour, right? So this Hadoop is doing what? It is assigning a task for 10 people, different. That's called distributed file system. On top of it, if I'm putting something called Spark particularly this is written in PySpark, Python only it is written. It's another architecture. So this 1 minute becomes less than, let's say I'm saying for simplicity purpose, 5 seconds. If I'm opening a website, Amazon, it should take less than a second to open it. Otherwise, I may lose interest. If I'm opening another website, it takes 10 seconds, 20 seconds. I will lose interest, right? So that kind of business doesn't work. If I'm opening Amazon here right now, it is within a flash, it opens. And amount of data it is showing is very huge. Okay, I think it's my internet speed problem here actually. So do not mistake an Amazon servers. So I have to be in accepting what is good of us and what is bad of us. So this is definitely, Google is good. Yeah. Google by, I think the Act FiberNet by default as Google actually. So keep it in mind. Amazon is one side, definitely. You can check it out afterwards. So, but amount of data which is there on the Amazon website, all that is nothing but data. All the images is nothing but the data, huge data. Still, it is opening within a flash of a second. That much amount of data is presented. All graphics which are there in dynamic are presented one shot for you. Everything. It's not that loading, it will show. Amazon website I'm talking about. If you talk about any other websites, fine. But Amazon websites will be never showing you buffering or loading, that site, that this is provided by these kind of architectures, these kind of tools. And I'm just talking about, there are multiple ways, not this is one design I'm just talking about with these tools. There could be hundreds of tools like this in the market. And as I'm a senior data science architect also, I also probably designed every hundreds of designs based on different client. That's called customer, and again, continuous integration, continuous development, CI/CD capabilities of customer needs and customer, what is their requirement, their budget. A lot of things come into picture. Okay, so that's about few things about, again, to understand the ecosystem of big data, guys. Yeah. So now data. Now for data organization, I'm talking about. So where the data is coming for organizations, Now data, most of the data is an internal process. All the companies have within the internal data. For example, now there is a ERP system, enterprise resource planning, enterprise resource planning. So this is a terminology from MBA. Okay. And there are different, for these enterprise means companies like Reliance or big companies, groups and all of it. This is called ERP. Within that, you have different softwares in ERP now. I worked in Oracle ERP, very popularly, huge, expensive. SAP is one of the ERP. Again, there are Microsoft Dynamics is one of the ERP. So you can see that it is SAP company, it is Oracle company, it is Microsoft company. Like this, you have hundreds of thousands of ERPs in the market. Okay. That means this ERP is responsible for managing all the resources within the organization or enterprise. They are doing the planning. So that means there is a finance department, there is a supply chain management department. Again, in a supply chain management, what you'll have? Inventory. That's called, again, purchase order, accounts payables, account receipt. Again, I can put that in this one. Inventory and purchase order. Again, within finance, I have account payables, account receivables. Okay, account payables, I can have here. I think in CRM, I'll put that one, no problem. So this all modules are divided. I'm talking about different process areas. This is called purchase order, inventory. Whenever you're trying to supply chain management, this is when you're trying to buy, something, and how this finance activities. These are different domains. Okay, AP, AR, general ledger. Again, if I'm talking about HR, payroll you have. Okay, payroll you have. Again, you have manufacturing. So like this, again, importantly, customer CRM. CRM also you have exclusive softwares here separately, like Salesforce. Salesforce is exclusive software for CRM, exclusive CRM software. Okay, so like this, again, different companies, you have again retail also, you have retail. So all the businesses have this kind of departments. We call nothing but domains or departments you can call. In fact, there is when you do MBA, you may do MBA finance, you may do supply chain management MBA, you may do HR MBA, specializations we call, right? So these are all part of MBA. Some people who have already idea, they might have an idea about. Why am I talking about all this? Because there are different softwares for different departments within the organization. So these softwares are nothing but to manage the data. These softwares are nothing but to manage the data. So whenever the company organizations are looking, one of the primary source is nothing but you will have ERP. In this ERP, you can have one database or multiple databases. So you can have the whole ERP data. Again, point of sale data. Point of sale means like you enter a supermarket and there is a transaction happening. The transaction can be an ERP system or it could be some point of sale other system also. Okay, there can be some more data. Again, this can have separate database. CRM software can have a separate database again. So like this, within the organization, the data is coming from different softwares also. So these are all different sources. So you have what all you have. If you want customer data of this organization, XYZ organization, this XYZ organization has a CRM software. You have a customer data here. You want some transactional data happening around. What is the transaction? PO model. So all transactional data are here. If you have again invoicing of these details in accounts payable, you have invoicing. There is order management also. You can have order management also here in this, or you can have in CRM also. So you want order management data, you can have order management data here. So whatever customer entering from the very lead to becoming a customer, okay, and entire of this data is captured within the ERP systems. That means you want invoices, transactions, customer, or even vendors data also. Vendors data also is there in this purchase order module. Depending upon the software, they store it in separate. So vendor master table data also you have. So all these data is sitting in the databases through some ERP softwares. This has been traditionally there from last 30-40 years. Now this still is there. This is software side of it. But now on the next level, what we are doing is data science activities from the very data. From the very data, you wanted to give some more decision making ability to for the people, for the decision makers. So you have the data source also importantly, whether you want to work on a problem statement. A problem statement is something where you're trying to solve the problems. Let's say I'm trying to solve employee attrition. What is employee attrition? Anybody? What is employee attrition? Employee attrition, one of the challenges for HR is to retain the resources. One of the senior manager HR role is that all good guys, IT people are leaving the company within 6 months or 1 year. Why? Because they are going away to get more salary in other companies. They are going, the moment they come here, within 3 months, they spend time. From 4th month, they are looking for other jobs outside. By end of the 12th month, again, they are leaving some new organization. And they're demanding 30,000-40,000 hike. And this is a challenge for HR. Why? Because HR has to make sure that all employees, if somebody is leaving, they have to engage new people equal in skill. So they have to keep on repeating the same. That's called employee attrition. Now she's not a soothsayer or a fortune teller that she will imagine that, okay, this guy is going to leave next year in 3 months or 4 months. Then who should have an idea about this? It's very difficult, right? Somebody to have an idea about who may be leaving in what time. So that is called problem statement of employee attrition. Now, who can solve these problems which were not solved earlier so far? Then who can solve it? Our machine learning is coming to rescue now. We are not saying that machine learning is the 100% answer, but machine learning can understand who all employees left earlier. Okay, it will read and understand on train on the already left employees, and what were the different reasons. It will understand. It will understand the various reasons why those people left. So in order, then it will give you a list of who are the employees, existing employees who may have a chance of leaving the company. Why? Because it's learning from the previous historical data. It will try to understand the patterns in that. I'm just giving an example here. Don't try to too much of understanding will not come on short time. We'll understand on problem statements. But I'm telling in a general case. Now for that, if I want to understand where will I get the data from? Will I go and ask, can you share me your company employee data? I will try to run on it and I will see in my company which employees will leave now. How will you know that if you are running a machine learning program on other employees' data, you are trying to predict on your employee data? How you can do it? You can't. So what is your financials? What is your strength? What is your weakness? You have to analyze your internal. I can't analyze someone else. Okay, you are very strong. Okay, can you bless me? I'll also become strong. No, you have to understand your own strengths. They're not strong because you are saying they're strong. They're strong because they have understood their strengths. So within the organization, somebody want to understand your customer, somebody wants to understand, not somebody, you want to understand customers, your customers, you have to understand your employees, then you can solve the problems. So for this, you require your own company data. So that means that was I was referring to that. The most of these problem statements when we are working in data science and analysis, the biggest part is that data comes from internal source only. So the whole data which you are talking about is sitting there in the big data for you. So you ask us anytime, anybody, any project, it is all you are working on your data. Why you want to do? Because you want to perform analytics on your internal data. Now, another case. When do we require external data? Internal data is fine. Yes, you understood that. You have to look in for within the internal data from the big data or your data systems, ecosystems, that now you want to work on different problem statements. Problem statements are nothing but you're trying to solve within some of the problems. We'll go in detail on these problem statements in some cases, nothing but these are called use cases. You are taking intentionally some use cases and trying to solve, and you're looking the data from the within the internal or any projects you are working, you're always looking from internal data because these are your projects. When do we look for external data? And what is external data, by the way? Where do we find external data? Why do we have to require external data? Anybody? Online, offline, guys? What is external data? Internal data I told
What is done from manufacturers or outside like external data, which is the purchase which is done from like supporters, like suppliers.
Okay, right. All right. That is right. Okay, fine. Anybody else want to add more anything? No.
Outside the organization.
Sorry?
Data we are looking outside the organization.
Yes. When would I look for external data and what could be the scenario? I'm just asking very just like that, casually. You can give me a casual answers also. I know you don't know, that's why I'm just trying to connect the dot points there. Absolutely right. One information. I can relate that point. Let's suppose you're going for a loan and loan these days, not these days, but from last at least 10, 15 years, it's going and asking RBI to understand your what all different accounts you have, different loans you have. It's your earlier before 20, 30 years back, they used to ask you, do you have any loans? You say no. You have assets? Half of Hyderabad is my only. Okay. You are telling and they're writing and they're giving you loan earlier. Okay. But today, they're not asking you. They're just asking, give me a PAN card. Okay. Then what is happening is that the RBI, they're checking the CIBIL score, third-party data. That's called third-party data, right? External source. So based upon your PAN card details, they are looking at third-party data. You're looking for a loan and they are telling that we can't give you loan because you already have so many loans in your CIBIL report. And you are stunned that you see that some accounts you opened in 2002 and you closed it, or you did not close, probably it's active, and you'll find all those reports. And I was surprised even myself when I was doing some CIBIL report recently, 6 months back. I was looking at some different accounts I had in 15 years back, and within India. So the RBI stores all this data in form of a repository, which we basically, when we look for CIBIL score, everybody knows CIBIL score, right? CIBIL report. So if you're looking for a SBI loan, the SBI guys engage with this CIBIL score, external data. They are dependent on external data. They charge you 67 rupees, 100 rupees something to generate their own CIBIL score report. So this SBI is trying to validate to whether to give a loan for they should validate your own data and within internally, but they are pretty much dependent upon to understand the nature of your financials through a third party data. That is when you may require external data sources. Another case which I will tell you practically, which I was able to work on, the reason here on one of the project in on machine deep learning actually, where I was working for a client in Singapore-based company. These were all again head branches. Again, I was working for Acolyte and very powerful insurance company of Singapore-based. But again, 14 countries, they were live with systems, Vietnam, Cambodia, and all of it. So they wanted to develop a app for all these 14 countries. It's called South Asia Pacific. These countries that are, they call this area name as Southeast Asia Pacific actually. So they want to develop this country, this app, and this app they wanted to have a feature of machine learning or deep learning where you take a selfie and it should be telling that take a selfie of your eyes. It should tell whether you have jaundice, conjunctivitis, glaucoma, or this kind of 1, 2, 3, and another 2 diseases were there. Total 5 diseases were there. So this app actually wanted to, the app is supposed to tell that there is a 55% chance you may have jaundice. Again, 62% says that you have a glaucoma, or 72% accuracy that you have conjunctivitis. So by taking a selfie, you should be able to predict that whether this person has a healthy eye, or this 4 diseases. So now this app, then what did I have to do? Now this company is an insurance company. Where will I get the data of this all disease data? I mean, this was a challenge for me. And this is a use case actually I proposed only of detecting eye detection. Based on that, it will tell what diseases the person has. Now, why they were looking at health related app within the insurance company? Their motive intention is to get as many as people engaged using this app. During particularly COVID time, any related people were much panicked about every diseases than time. They were checking all types of, checking on that app, and they wanted some health related feature where they can check instead of consulting a doctor, they just can have a just quick look at it. Now using this is all AI, using AI. Then how AI can tell that a person has conjunctivitis, jaundice, or glaucoma, or a healthy eye? And again, there is a disclaimer. Okay, this is only information. Please visit for your doctor consultation. The last message is always that thing only. So it was just to engage and say that it shows 92%. Okay, then he will think at least go off going there. Now, for any case, it could be. Okay, even predicting your future also maybe, but anything, the deep learning or machine learning always requires what? Data, historical data. So my challenge was to collect huge amount of data on people having jaundice eye, people having conjunctivitis, people having glaucoma. Then what did I do? As just like everybody, I went on here and I checked it here on Google. Jaundice images. And so I used to take these images like this, and by then in 2020, I had few amount of images. I used to take up all these images, and again you will find that glaucoma diseases. Again this kind of diseases. These all images have to be downloaded. So I downloaded all these images, again, conjunctivitis. Okay, all this. So I don't know the medical part, which within the eye part, which is which portion of it is I know it looks dangerous, but which portion of eye is what disease, I don't know. Okay, but the data is labeled there. Labeled in the sense, let's say jaundice eyes, it's within the data. I am saying that these all images are jaundice based eyes. Okay, I am labeling this all images as jaundice images, or I'm saying healthy eye. I'm saying all these eyes are very healthy eyes. You can see nicely, clear and bright and everything. So I'm labeling them as 5 folders or 4 folders. Healthy eye folder images I'm putting in one, all jaundice images in all one, glaucoma on one, 4 folders I created, let's suppose. So I used to train that 4 folders with deep learning model, building some models, and it used to learn from those 4 folders, and it will tell when I'm taking a selfie, it will tell that, okay, you have jaundice, you have glaucoma, you have LVI, like this. So that deep learning, how it works, it's a different chapter. But here, what I'm trying to give, this is all data only, right? Images. And how did I get this data? Hardly I found around 3,000 images on online. I wrote a script using Beautiful Soup, a Python API. Okay, and I have downloaded all those images. You can also download, not a problem. Any images you can download by just giving the URL and writing the script using the Beautiful Soup. This is called data wrangling also. Data Beautiful Soup for downloading the data. You can see Beautiful Soup. It's a Python package for parsing HTML, XML documents, including these malformed markup. Okay, you can use this. Web scraping, we also call this one. So I have used it. So that was not sufficient. Hardly I got around 6,000 images altogether. But I require 50, 60,000 images. That's the minimum I was saying. The more I have, the more accuracies it will give you. So what happened? I built up this with this thing, and because there was a lot of pressure on this, they were asking every 2 days. They were asking what is the status, of the model, because our chief digital officer want to convey this product that he has built to the someone head in the China. And that guy is pushing him, this guy is pushing me, and they're asking, because I was responsible for 300 data scientists here. So he's saying that why it will take such a long time for you to build having 300 data scientists? You have 300 data scientists or not is a matter, but if data you don't have, nothing works. I was telling same thing. He is not listening. Okay, he said, something you show me, I have to show something. We did some with 3,000 images. He went and showed that, front end, back end, everybody were there ready to build all those things. They built it, we tested, it was always showing some disease, but he was not listening to that. Okay, then he went on to show that display a demo saying that I built this, so my team built this, and when the chief digital officer was taking the selfie, it was showing jaundice for him. That guy is saying that, okay, maybe first time he tried, second time, third time, he's saying, I don't have all these diseases, why it's showing me diseases? He was offended, and it's not showing me all, I don't have these diseases. That guy was telling again same answer what I was telling. So that guy was telling same answer, that no, the sufficient data we don't have still yet, because these are all disease-based data we don't have. He was explaining that guy. That again, that guy was shouting on that. But the idea was that this guy wanted to buy more time. Okay, when he pressed us to get that product out for him so that he can even display. Now he only told we'll give you only 3 days time. I don't know what you do, you get it back. 3 days, that of course it was not sufficient. Now he asked us to do something. Then what did I say? Out of my experience, I just hard coded. For every selfie, you write healthy eye. Okay, every time somebody takes a selfie, it's a healthy eye. Obviously, we were taking all selfies where was internal team. Nobody was jaundice affected or glaucoma or conjunctivitis. So I used to say it's working now, healthy eye. Everybody is having healthy eye. That guy also was like same thing, healthy eye. So why it's not showing jaundice now, he asked. So because you don't have jaundice. Okay, anyways, disclaimer is there. For further consultation, you have to go visit this. But somehow, now he said that, okay, this is fine now. Okay, something is working. Yeah, it's working now. See, they don't have all technical knowledge. They only want something happening, going on, and then the head asked for more time in 1 month to refine the modules, because I'll tell you why there is a constant push. Why? Because there has to be always work has to be keep going from next stage to next stage. If this guy did not push me, we wouldn't have shown that at least even the demo part. Otherwise, it will take 3 months, 6 months. The product will never finish. The output has to be always there outside. It's called productivity. It's not about money paying, only productivity has to be there. Then immediately I wrote emails to multiple universities, universities, including our Koti also, ENT hospital. We got then the company was ready to pay huge amount of us. Again, NHS also was there in London, another very big this thing. Again, we wrote some emails to Sanford also. Again, so we received all replies and we segregated around nearly to 35 to 40,000 images. And even Shutterstock also one website, Shutterstock. You'll find even that website has huge amount of data, images. We were able to find around 35 to 40,000 images. So, and we had to pay it. We paid for huge amount for that. The company paid. The company did not bother about it. So, and it's very difficult for people to make them understand, even the senior resource management, that it is not that our programming we are doing, it's about data actually. Because it is nothing but algorithm which is doing the job. You give the data to the algorithm, it will go and predict you this images. It will do the prediction part. Okay, it will do the prediction part. It's not that I am writing a software and writing a code to predict correctly, right? I am not doing this job. This is software job. I am doing saying that with the data and algorithm, what they're able to predict it is what I'm talking about as a machine learning. So one of the critical important area is nothing but data. The algorithms are also predefined. I'm not writing any new algorithm here. But software world, they were used to show that if you want some output, they say that you have to fix some code here. But it was not the code issue here. It was the data issue. We did not have data, so it will not predict. Okay, if I don't know the way from here to Mars, how will I tell you what is the from a way to here to Mars? So that's the point here. If you don't have data, I can't predict anything. So data is important. Again, earlier those days, those people did not have much knowledge on that. Even though I was saying data is important, they did not bother about it. But until we realized that these 30,000, 40,000 images, the accuracy was nearly to 72% and 75% accuracy we achieved by that thing actually. And how many people know what is oximeter? Oximeter also. Anybody knows oximeter? SpO2 levels, yeah, it checks the oxygen levels during COVID time. Oximeters were hotcakes. It was even selling at near to 2,000 to 4,000 rupees Indian currency. If your oxygen levels are low, below 70, 80, it is a danger. That means you have to immediately take some oxygen, get some consultation. So during COVID time, oxygen was going away, right? So oximeters were hot selling. So how did we develop? We developed through smartphone. If you take a flash there, on your phones, you have a flash, right? If you put for 30 seconds, again, it burns a lot actually by the way. We tested many times, it burns when you put it on. So it should be able to tell you your SpO2 levels. We were doing that one also. We had nice use case. That is also called use case. So within the mobile, we were able to develop this medical related also. But why? How? What is possible? So it was possible through the data and the algorithm. Through mobile phone, we did many things. We developed apps which was talking about. So now the concept here, why am I talking about all these things, is because we were dependent on the external data, right? The insurance company never had this data, but it was dependent on the external factors. We engaged with third-party companies, we got the data from them. So it is part of your role. Again, if you're a managerial role, you'll understand that you have to get the data somehow, whether it could be internal data, it could be external data, but you have to get the data. If you're working on what? At a particular use case you want to solve, it's nothing but your problem statement. So it could be internal, it could be external. These are the primary sources. These are two sources of internal, external. Everybody understood the difference between internal and external, right? So these are some of the part of the data fact, and let me just quickly show some of the information here. So this is what already we discussed. Data is the foundation of analytics. Before starting any analysis, you need to understand the characteristics of data, its source of origination, transformation it has gone through, right? We have discussed already this qualitative, quantitative, and all of these things. So this is what I was giving you some information on internal and external sources. So source of data are nothing but generated internally in organization across business processes like sales data, logistic data, finance data, HR data, and so on. And external data you can be nothing but external bodies or data aggregators or credit bureaus. So in case if you want to solve any use case or problem statement and you want it to be there, you have to. By example, again, let's say you want to build some machine learning feature app for farmers. For every farmer, one of the thing only he want to know is what? When would be there a rain actually, the rainfall. He wants to understand why, because for him, everything is dependent upon the rains. Okay, so water, rainwater, rainfall. So you can become a weatherman there now. You can predict and tell them. And for that, what data you require? You require the weather data. Where will you get it from? You'll send a satellite. You'll become a satellite. You'll fly like a bird there. Huh? So you have to depend upon the weather department data and meteorological department in India, right? Most parts of the countries, they have the separate department from government organization. They will give you the data in case if you want to work on this kind of analysis, probably with a minimal charge, maybe in case, in short, otherwise also not, but in case they may give you free or they may charge you for, based upon the purpose. There is a separate institute who does all these activities. Who it is? Statistical Institute, Indian Statistical Institute, ISI. So who are all, you are all now actually become those kind of people only, but for different reasons. Data scientist is nothing but a statistical analyst only. Instead of Indian Statistical Institute is primarily to work on research and development on different types of use cases. So you are performing statistical analysis on the weather forecasting data in case if it is for a farmer's data. That's again external. You don't have the data. You have to go and ask the meteorological department data. If you want to know another use case, how the real estate business happening in Hyderabad, Bangalore, and Mumbai, you want to compare it. Where will you get the data from? Where? Source. You'll go ask person to person which property you bought today. Then what? You'll go sit at the MR office. Sorry? But data I'm talking, where will you get the data? So basically you want to know that how is the demand for real estate in cities. So these guys who are there, these guys approach RERA department. RERA is a department for all housing related activities from the government side. So again, I'm just telling you one bureau, just like your CIBIL is a bureau, you may get the data about the demand and supply of a real estate market in the market. Okay, that is another part of data again, I'm telling you. So you have different external and internal use cases. Based upon the use case, you have to look where the data you have to look. If you're working on customer churn, you have to ask your HR. You have to ask your database administrators, I'm looking for a customer data. If you're looking to perform use case on HR data, you have to ask the HR data from the database they'll give you. If you want to work on the transactional invoice related of your company, you have to ask everything internally. But if at all you are looking to develop some new apps or different part of it, which is not, you don't have existing data, you may have to seek data from outside. That's called external data. Apart from this, device generated, system generated, you have data everywhere. Data is generated everywhere. Few examples of where all the data is generated. Why we call this big data? Because huge amount of pile up of data is happening, and the data can come from different parts of it. That is the primary understanding of source of data. And any problem statement you're trying to work upon, you have to look at the data is coming from internal sources or external. If it is external, it may be free or you may have to pay. Understand this. And the data when it comes, it can have quality issues. All the data, when we're talking particularly about raw data, it can have missing data, name corrections, printed, what all the details. It could be like missing data, junk values, definitions, completeness, validity, accuracy, timeliness, consistency. So that means within the data, it can have all these quality issues. Junk values means lack of validations. Like for city name, you are writing in some field, you are writing HYD. In other field, you are writing Hyderabad, full name. Some basically you are writing like different. Again, in some place you are writing Bhagyanagar. So all means same, yeah, means same, but people who understand that. But if people don't understand everything, that's called validation. Again, somewhere you're writing using a special symbol, somewhere you're not using special symbol. So within the data, you can have data with missing values, junk values, definitions, incorrect information, multiple definitions, and there could be left blanks. So you may have to working on this data also. As a data scientist analyst, we may have to work. But if somebody asks you, what are the different issues in the data? These are some of the issues in the data. So what is again data? For example, here when we look at this picture of a lady here, the lady who looks young and stylish. So if we ask about what kind of a data could be for a customer data is not always all about data about always transactions and invoices. Customer data is also about what kind of our interests are, personalized information. When we call here demographic overview and psychographic overview. Demographic is like, she's a woman 25 to 30 making $80,000. But now we are talking about machine learning features which will basically suggest on personalized level. What kind of movie also you like, now Netflix can suggest. So how it is possible? By understanding this data. What data now? See, somebody can easily make out somebody receiving too many calls for loans and all of it. It's based because somebody is taking your data from credit card based on the number of transactions. They understand and they get the data that these are some frequent customers who do purchases. You may get more number of calls for that reason. It's not that you gave the data number somewhere, but based upon the transactions happening outside, the third party people are generating this data, keeping and selling it again. You don't have knowledge that pretty much now whatever I'm speaking in the class right now is also been recorded and shared across the globe with right now in all the applications, apps you have in your phone, including mine. That means if you know that our every word is listened by these applications, mobile phones right now. Yes. So the app which you open, actually, we are only giving permissions there. If you see, when we are downloading the app first time, allow camera, allow microphone, allow everything we are saying. If you don't allow, it will not work. It says you first allow, then only will come, otherwise no. So you allow everything. That means you're pretty much compromised. In fact, the app knows much better than you that next after 1 hour where you are going to go. It records everything. The Google can even predict actually next 2 hours, 3 hours, what you can do on a particular Monday at this time, what usually your was activity. It can even predict on the particular ways. I'm telling you, there are very much state-of-art applications. Everybody are compromised, but again, good thing is that everybody are already in this dig. Basically, it's not 1%, 2%. Everybody are in the same thing. So actually, what happens when we are developing some of the AI products in one of the company, we used to keep our mobile phones outside and come for the meeting. Actually, we used to do that. Not in the customer service I'm talking about, where you're putting mobile phones and they're coming on the working floor. Why? Because if you have mobile phone, you are not focusing on the work. Here I'm talking about particularly if we want to develop a particular machine learning feature, we don't want outsiders to listen that. So we actually put mobile phones when we are trying to innovative product we want to develop. We used to keep mobile phones separately and then come here for a meeting, finish the meeting, then again we used to go and take the mobile, because mobiles had such a potential that it will listen all the words. And it is moving very fast everywhere, I'm telling you. So now here, this lady is psychographic. What basically? Psychographic means psychologically, if she's making $80,000, where she's spending this $80,000? She's only young, 25. Where she spends this much money when she's making? She just subscribes around $4,000 only for personal care products. If I'm a cosmetic company, she's a very good target audience for me where I can sell my product, isn't it? So the companies are not just targeting you, calling you for some reason that will you buy this product today? No. If you haven't received any call from so far from any cosmetic company or any luxury car segment, that means your data is not, your information is not there on the data. Okay, and then I usually get many loans, many calls these days that there is a loan available on your car. Okay, I say that I don't want loan, Baba. I'm just clearing it out. I finished my loan. Again, you want to give loan. So what I'm saying, they have the data. The data is going out everywhere. Credit cards, they keep asking me, you want credit cards? I'm already having too many credit cards. Why should I have more credit cards? Because I'm having credit cards, take more credit cards. Because you have loans, take more loans. That is what is the message of the market. So here, some of my friends are there. Trust me, they listen. They do get nice, very luxury product testing calls also. They say that come and test this new product we have built up and you come test it. I don't know. I wonder why I don't get that kind of calls, only UI, because they spend more. They spend on luxury products there where I've seen that. So they have the data going passing on and they basically are called for some of the testing areas. Why? Because it's just a trial. So that once they get the taste, basically again a repeated customers then become. So I'm telling about understanding the psychographic data is very, very important. So what you see again, active on session network every 1 to 2 hours, annual membership at local club, again subscription for fashion magazine. So all these are nothing but let's say she is probably having some subscription for one magazine, but again she may be pitched for another magazine also. Very again same people, other side of the people, and that may happen. So understanding today on a personalized data is very, very important. These all data are also captured by third-party people. Okay, and one of the interesting thing before closing the call, I'll tell you now. Facebook ads, everybody know. Facebook ads work in such a way, the algorithms work in such a way that, okay, Facebook, it's nothing but the information what you give for Facebook. You think only the Facebook has this data only, but actually these people, with third-party integration data, third party has entire data of yours. Keep it in mind. Whatever you did from your birth probably till end, they have the whole data, and you can't imagine that. It's third-party people. They have this customer, what all transactions you did, what all ways you did, wherever it was association of your PAN card. This is called customer data platform, by the way, CDP. I was trying to build this also with one of the companies, but again, it's a very huge task. So customer data platform, there are companies already have the CDP. That means it's called omni-channel. Omni-channel means complete view of you. If I type your mobile number, everything of all your records comes. When you were logged on Facebook, when you were logged off Google, everything will be there. What all you traveled, what all transactions. So this campaigning, marketing campaigns, how the target is that this Facebook along with third-party data will know that when you will be on Facebook, when you will be online on that thing, and you'll see that that ad is coming up there for you. It's not that Facebook has, it will again, if not also, it will try to bring you on the Facebook. How? By saying you have a suggested friend. You will find that's a friend request, but it's a suggested friend. But somehow you are landing upon the Facebook again. There is a chance of targeting you to buy a product on that. Keep on repeating. I'm telling you, these things are working in very different way, and hundreds of people, billions of money spent on to create such platforms. Not for you, for many people in the market. So again, anyways, these are all lot of information which I've been talking today is not something directly targeting, helping you to get for interview perspective, but this session is basically helping you to expand your knowledge on the data front. You get my point, right? Whatever I've been discussing are all casual discussions. I'm not coming prepared for this PPT with this discussion. I'm just talking about what all things are happening in the market. So there are many people who don't even watch AI movies. I'm asking you also go start watching from today onwards AI movies. And one of the movie which I love movie called Artificial Intelligence by Steven Spielberg. You'll find many movies from intelligence. Steven Spielberg. There are very good, nice AI movies by Steven Spielberg. In 1999 or 2001, I watched this movie when I was probably 10th standard. It's a lovely movie. I'm telling you, it's a robo. And they, in future, you will find that babies are adopted by parents, and the babies are nobody but again AI robots. You can't make out that this person is a robot actually in the screen what you see. So it's a beautiful movie. You can watch that movie. And okay, there are a lot of AI movies. You can watch it. Another movie which I loved was Her. Again, a personal assistant, basically. A personal assistant again, which advises, this guy on his day-to-day doings, and it becomes like something after a while, the machine becomes so advanced and it will start not suggesting or recommending, but it start calling like a wife. You have to do this now only. Why? Because this is not good for you. This is something very good for you. You should do this thing only. That means it calculates in real fast. But if he's going to even have a sip of a cool drink, it will tell that it has this much carbohydrates, this much of content, and it will tell that these sugar levels of yours are down. And within this, no matter of time, you'll be dying again if you have this one. So it was not suggesting, recommending, but more mocking again there now. So what I'm saying is that you have to watch some of the AI movies also to understand. And why I'm telling about all this, because lot of these AI movies, particularly Steven Spielberg movies, he doesn't just design the movie just like that. It is purely based on some of the real facts in science and technology in STEM fields. They do research for years of time, then they go and do the movie, and you'll find that movies are in future. You'll find those movies are reality. Actually, whatever you are seeing today, Alexa and Siri are all some kind of case studies in 1980s and 1990s. Why these US universities pay you huge scholarships? Anybody? Everybody thinks that going to US is basically a dream job. But let me tell you, many people go here, 98% people I have seen is that they all go with 30, 40, 50 lakhs loans to US. But many people missed out that the reason you should go to US is that where I have seen 2% of people, my friends who have seen that they went for scholarships to the US. US is known for scholarships, not for your loans. The people who should go for US are the merit students. Why? Because I have seen that the fees where they were supposed to pay is $40,000-$50,000, but actually it was 100% scholarship they got because they got in GRE. Then we had 1600 score. They all got 1600 of 1600. TOEFL 120 out of 120. Again, these people scored so high. So they're again from 10th inter and engineering, they were all having 90%, and they got scholarship plus assistantship. Means if they go to US for this university, they'll be paid $4,000 to $5,000 as an assistantship. That means they were making money by going university, not by taking loans and going to US. And when they landed the US, within 3 months, they were already rich. Rich in the sense financially strong because they were getting $4,000 to $5,000 plus accommodation plus assistantship plus their master's program. The moment they complete, again, they're getting much more better salaries in companies. So that is the purpose of actually going US. US is not about going to get more loans, actually, burden yourself, but you are going abroad. US is to actually making money in terms of sharing your technical knowledge. And that's why it's called STEM field, science, technology, and medicine. Why they are called, why they give H1B visas? Why? Because it is one of the niche skills. Okay, fine, guys. I know there are a lot of topics which are out of scope of data science, but again, I'm sharing this all information so that you can see how these are interconnected to different points. Then how you should compete in the market, thinking that only these tools are enough for you, then I may not say it's because in a very competitive world, things are moving very fast. But again, this is a lot of freshers are there in this our classes, working professionals are there. Even though people who are from working professions in India, they might even not know what all things happen in abroad side. So you have to compete. So the word you can take away is to become more independent and understand the big data ecosystem. Again, you can write one assignment on big data. What is big data? You can make one PPT on big data, guys. Take it as assignment. One big data PPT, maybe 2-3 slides are fine. Just write some information. So tomorrow, anybody asks you, what are you doing data science course? Then you should be mentioning about big data. You should know that what is big data and all of these things. So without knowing much, don't continue the course. Try to do one PPT or presentation. Try to gain some knowledge on gathering the information that what do you understand by big data. And I would say that please have your own separate tracker that what you have learned and what you have done as an assignment. Okay, I'll conclude the class for today, guys. And mostly from tomorrow, we'll be going with a flow of topics and more restricted to the contents only than the discussions. And whenever discussions are required, then I may just drop in again. So thank you, guys. So we have Avilasha, Avinash, Bangar, Janvi, Kevin, Manish, Sirisha, Siva, Shrikant, Yashwant, and all the offline guys also. Thank you, guys. Have a nice day.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Have a nice day.